So I received an invitation to speak at Jay on the Beach. I hadn't heard of it before, and aside from Malaga looking like a fantastic place to visit, I was really impressed with the speaker lineup, and I thought it was a good set of folks to be speaking with, and I was really interested in seeing all the talks, so I figured I'd join in. So Apache Beam came out of some of the work that we'd been doing at Google for internal data processing, so there were a number of projects there, Flume Java, MillWheel, and much earlier on MapReduce that were sort of the precursors to Apache Beam. And when we decided to build a cloud product called Google Cloud Dataflow, we eventually decided then to open source the SDK portion of that and donate it to the Apache Software Foundation. So I'd already been involved kind of historically and just naturally transitioned into working with the open source project when that happened. So it sort of depends on how you look at it. From the level of any alternatives that provide the level of power and flexibility that Beam does across the breadth of runners that it does, I don't think there are any good alternatives. If you want to throw away the portability aspect of it, there are systems like, say, Flink that have a lot of the features that are in Beam as well, and so you can just focus on Flink and work there, and that will work well. But if you really want the portability aspects that Beam brings to the table, I don't think there are any good alternatives. Essentially, all of our runners, except for the Cloud Dataflow runner, have been built by third parties. So the Flink community built the Flink runner. We have some folks who've now become part of our community, but that are working on the Spark runner. But it originated out of Cloudera and then was picked up by a PayPal engineer later on. There's an Apex runner built by the Apex community. Gear Pump runner is being contributed, and there are a few other ones that have been talked about, but I don't think they're far enough along to be worth mentioning. But there's a lot of interest in adding new ones. So myself, I'm going to be diving into helping out with a relatively new effort in the community that is adding a SQL DSL on top of Apache Beam. So you'll be able to write SQL statements that then can be executed as Beam pipelines. Well, I'm really excited for the SQL stuff that I'm working on. I think that will be cool. I'm also very excited. We have so there's kind of two aspects to Beam. There's the SDKs and the runners, and then Beam provides this abstraction layer between them. And we have a well-defined abstraction layer between like the SDK side and sort of the pipeline generation side, but the abstraction that comes at the execution layer, that abstraction layer is landing soon. And what that's going to allow us to do is you'll be able to write a Python or a pipeline using Beam Python and be able to execute it on any of our runners, even if they don't themselves have native Python support. So you could run a Beam Python pipeline on Apache Flink, which really only has Java support. And so it's really going to enable, really going to take portability to the next level of being able to run any language on any runner, regardless of language impedance mismatches. There is a DSL for Scala that's been contributed by some folks at Spotify called Shio. So that's there. Those are the only ones I'm aware of off the top of my head. It's been great. It's been extremely well run. I've enjoyed all the talks that I've been to, so I've had a fantastic time. It's been a really great conference.